Had the idea to make a guide for Bloodlines 2. People have been saying that there's no real way to do a hand-to-hand build or just a straight hands build. And what this is just a mini showcase to show what Benny from his new DLC can do. Still pretty fun, still very comparable, just not anywhere near what the Nomad can do with the base game. And for whatever reason, Benny can also sprint jump cancel, and it doesn't break the masquerade at all, so that's fun to know. For basic movement here, you can tap your jump button once, and you hold it for a super jump. You can also dash before or after jumping. Dashing while jumping into a wall or jumping off of any surface resets the dash. So you can continuously dash off of objects like seen here without slowing down, without losing momentum. You can also use that to press your circle button or whatever your crouching button is to slide it while holding, while dashing or moving or sprinting. You can use vampiric sprint as well, and it will automatically vault you to things and vault you to objects. Using that will assist with movement as well. That also combines and leads us into all of the melee attacks. Benny has a heavy standing punch, which leads into 2 jabs into an ending finishing standing punch. That finishing standing punch or any charge hit can be punched into walls or any surface, and you can use that for momentum changes. You can also dash in any direction, left and right as well, and those will do roundhouse kicks to those perspective directions as well. You can also dash backwards or forwards, and those kicks will be plunging attacks that will send enemies flying away from you or splatter off of walls or anything that they crash into. And here we're combining some of the movement tech and the melee tech together, combining dashes with heavy punches or either just like normal strings and combos to create a strictly just hands punching and kicking build for Benny. Try not to use the vampiric powers at all, to just have a great melee build, which is very fun and very rewarding to play, as at least with Benny. However, Benny does not have the same abilities that the Nomad has, so he cannot make feeding safe. So you can only ever reliably safely feed off the final enemy that you're going to kill in an encounter. So you have to guarantee that you can make it through the fight without needing to feed. Also, using any of the assassinations or any prompt on another character is usually bad as well, because Benny is able to be damaged the entire time of those animations. So it's just easy as a sitting duck to die. He does have ways to cover himself, either with powers or his pistol, and I'll show you how to do that a little later on. All of the enemies with the 2 health bars, any of their stronger or beefier guys, Benny can't readily kill or stun lock with combos, so it's best to just use whatever vampiric power you have that can do massive damage to them instantly, and then follow them up and kill them, or knock them off a cliff in this case. Since Benny once again can't reliably feed without taking the line damage, it's just not ideal for you to feed off of or try to stun into a feed one of the larger enemies to get rid of them that way. It would just end up getting you killed. Even here, with using a vampiric power, using time stop, and using celerity to get an assassination there, it's the only way to really make yourself safe in any locked animation much like Benny. And getting sidearm, which is actually one of his most fun gameplay features, is something that'll be used a lot more later. reduced damage. It seems to be better to just use it on a blind fire mode where you just pull out the weapon and just jump rounds ahead of you instead of trying to actually aim it for headshots. Also, later on in the game's campaign, you do have access to incendiary rounds that help to burn vampiric enemies and do a lot more damage. And even that way, it seems to be the best way to incorporate a pistol into your combos is just pulling it out and firing off a couple shots in between hits instead of trying to manually make the damage. My playstyle in the base game was a nomad that was a corridor with celerity and really like dashing around and punching. And since Benny doesn't have access to the double dashes or being able to constantly use celerity and time stop to dodge bullets, kind of been using his pistol as like a gap close weapon. Use it to keep people off of you or to continue stun lock states, or to just continue combos and continue doing damage from range. And it's just a good crowd control thing to get people off him, especially since he doesn't have a lot of options to be continuously safe. However, Benny does get obliterated by bullets. He doesn't have any way to safely dodge them, or the only way he can really make space is by using his dashing and his runs. So he's kind of stuck trying to fight anyone from severe range without any powers or anything like that. And even with the Bruja powers he has available, without time stop or celerity, you can only really gap change. Like even here, you can gap change and get a feed off, but look at how much damage you take for doing so. He can't make anything safe. So you just have to only feed off of the last enemy to get your health back. Again, these are just the things that I've been able to figure out with the character. I'm pretty sure there's other things you can do. I'm just not that good at them. Like, I'm still not completely capable of parrying every single melee hit by dashing forward. I can't get the timing consistent, so I'm usually off with that a little bit. And I think if a person had that timing guaranteed, it would make Benny a lot safer, even with his lack of being able to safely feed off a target. It would just make it so that you would take a lot less return damage, and while still being able to put out an insane amount of damage as well. And with his late game incendiary rounds and just the sidearm that he has in general, he can just do a stupid amount of damage even without his powers at all. Also, being able to pick up, 6 or 7 bullets for every enemy you kill with a firearm just makes it so that you can continuously just squeeze on people, and Benny doesn't really lose anything for that, which is another thing that makes it just fun to play as a different character other than the Nomad. And that's really all I have on Vinny here. He's been a real fun addition to the game. Different playing with another character with a different playstyle. Similar, same powers, but at least he has a firearm and different movement techniques. So it's been interesting to see that. I'll be curious to see what Isabella or Isolde, the other DLC character, is like, the other character. And Vinny's not complicated as a nomad at all. Still things that the nomad can get away with that Vinny cannot, which is why Vinny has the same fate in the story that he has, but still a very interesting and very fun playstyle, and I'm curious to see what other people think. And that's a little bit of an abrupt ending here, but I think this is all that I have to really talk about still for Vinny. There's a lot more that you can do in the base game with the Nomad as far as just strictly hand-to-hand builds, but appreciate you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.